Hey guys, welcome back to the Gamestorm podcast. This is Tom Denby along with
Dan Horgan.
and our special guest this week, fresh off of his top 32 at Grand Prix Toronto.
Dave Duran.
Congratulations, my man. What place did you take?
31st.
That's very good. How many players were up in there?
I don't even know because I didn't even check the non-existent coverage that was supposed to be posted. But
It was
it
at
was
least
over
1,000.
1,000. Yeah.
That's pretty good, man. That's awesome. You started 11-1 before you started sliding down. We'll get to that, but starting 11-1 at a Grand Prix, that is an awesome feat. It really is. So congratulations there. I know you didn't do as well as you wanted to. We were talking about it on Facebook. You were a little disappointed. I would have been disappointed too, but you know what? Silver linings. Top 32. You cashed out. Your trip wasn't in vain. So
Yep.
silver linings, like I said. So what deck were you playing?
I played Blue Red Phoenix.
That's a really good deck right now. I'm a big fan of it. I think Phoenix is one of the best cards in the modern format. So let's go through your list here. So we got 4 Phoenix, 4 Thing in the Ice, titties as you like to call it,
Yeah.
2 Crackling Drake, 2 Terramander, and a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. That's not one I've seen a lot of in these lists.
No. It got a little bit of headway probably like 6 weeks ago, and then Ross Merriam played it for a week and then kind of dispatched it, saying it was a little slow and clunky at times, and that he'd rather have the third free spell, preferably the third free spell being Surgical Extraction.
Right.
After testing it a bit, I felt that the Surgical Extraction wasn't necessarily ideal in all the matchups, and the times you would want it, you would kind of just rather have it be another gut shot. I thought for flexibility purposes, to play the Jace, it gives you another solid discard outlet,
Right.
and it being able to shut down opposing creatures, especially against Infect, earlier in the Spirits matchup when you're just attacking in. If they have like something like a Rattle Chains up already, or a Mausoleum Wanderer that they held back with like a Supreme Phantom up, it just lets you run in, and then either they E3 or they force to block.
Right.
Also, its Snapcastering for its minus effect is pretty important, especially when you're in the more grindier matchups too.
It's a free spell at that point out of your yard.
Yeah, it helps a lot against the Death Shadow matchup too. Hitting them with like a Phoenix, a Bolt, and like flashing it back.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have it up in play and they don't kill it, they're trying to get to like a 4/4 Death Shadow. Ideally, so it doesn't. So it's out of bolt range, but by that time they're already dead on board.
Right.
And it's really, really good in the blue-white matchup.
The Jace, yeah, it gives you a lot of grinding power, a lot of staying power. Those games, you're trying to end them quickly, but they can go long if they terminus you or they have a lot of paths.
Yeah.
So it's just like another resilient threat in that regard.
Yeah, they can't beat their ultimate too.
Right. So for your spell choice here, we got 4 Sleight of Hand, 4 Serum Visions, thank you, 4 Thought Scour, 4 Faithless Looting, 4 Manamorphose, 4 Lightning Bolt, 2 Gut Shots, 2 Lightning Axe, and 1 Izzet Charm. Something noticeably absent that you were talking about is there's 0 Surgical Extractions in your main board.
Yeah.
With Dredge and all those graveyard decks so popular, why have you chosen to not play any main?
Dredge, you can kind of race them.
Okay.
You go about the same clip. Also, playing a Thing in the Ice and just flipping it pretty much resets them too. You have answers like Gut Shot, Bolt, Lightning Axe to kind of keep the damage off as well. And you can pretty much most of the time just block with a Thing in the Ice because you're already going to know if they have a Conflagrate or a Dark Blast.
Right.
I've played the Dredge side from the other side of the table a lot too. So I felt that my understanding of the matchup was fine, and I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted the Surgical.
Okay.
It could have
You
been
just kind
better
of
in
wanted
the
like the more consistent 4 ofs instead of kind of diluting it with these random 1 and 2 ofs maybe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's fair. And then your mana base is pretty standard. 4 Tarn, 1 Strand, 1 Delta, 4 Spider Bluff Canals, 2 Steam Vents, 1 Sulphur Falls, 3 Islands, and 2 Mountains. Nothing really stands out there. As for the sideboard, I like this sideboard. 2 Blood Moons, 2 Surgical Extractions, 2 Dragon Claws, 2 Abrades, 1 Shatterstorm, 1 Dispel, 1 Anger of the Gods, 2 Spell Pierce, and 2 Ceremonious Rejection. The thing that's standing out to me a lot here is the Dragon Claw. I'm a really big fan of that card in Modern.
Yeah, I felt that you kind of had to respect the burn matchup and the mirror bit too.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I can say about that one. I
know,
ended up
Dan-
not playing the Mono Red Phoenix or the burn deck the
Okay.
whole time.
Oh, that's rough.
So I much would have rather had the other Dragon's Claw be another Dispel and probably like a Disdainful Stroke.
Okay.
Or maybe a second Shatterstorm.
That's fair. It really just depends on what you run into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Modern's such a wide open field. It's just like, I think these are the worst matchups, so I need to try and prepare for them as best I can.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't run into those matchups, they're kind of just useless board slots.
Yeah.
I always feel like Dragon Claw is such like a next level card for a format like Modern.
Yeah, it's
So innocuous.
It's like, yeah, people are catching on to it. Like I said, you have to respect the deck.
Right.
Especially now with Light Up the Stage and Skewer the Critics.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they're like thought casting and playing their own cantrips, you're already taking them off a turn.
Yeah.
And then especially post board when you have like Spell Pierce and Dispel. You can also not be afraid to swap out your surgicals and your gut shots in that slot too.
That's fair.
Because hitting a Light Up the Stage or hitting a Skewer and having to pay 2 to do it, or like a Bolt or something, like you're gonna save yourself more damage in the long run.
Right, and what does Gut Shot even do against Burn?
Yeah, it does literally nothing in that matchup.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like taking the better free spell preference.
Correct. No, I like that. Surgical, always one of the best cards in the format as far as hate. So tell me about your matchups. Like, what were your good matchups? What did you play against? What did you lose to?
The matchup I lost to the Mirror in like round 8. We were table 2, like round 8, 8 or 7, either one. Lost to the Mirror. Game 3 was really close.
Mm-hmm.
I opened a hand with like a couple cantrips and just was kind of spinning my wheels for a bit. He started off with a Terramander. I gut shotted it, and then the next turn he slammed a Pyromancer, and then I was just
that's rough.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't see a bolt or anything. I was digging, and then by the time he hit like 3 spells and I hit a bolt, he had a dispelled back up with like a spell pierce. So he gained a little too much leverage on that.
I was gonna say too far ahead.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
What were your last 3 rounds?
So I ended up going 11-1. Going into round 13, I was in 7th place at 11-1, so that's pretty commanding position. I ended up playing against the prison deck, which most of you guys don't know, the blue-green prison deck that's been gaining a little bit of popularity, the Word of Invention deck.
Okay.
That's typically like an auto-loss matchup.
Yeah.
That deck's extremely solid right now. I kind of knew how to play against it by watching Ray Perez play it a couple weeks ago at the NRG Open. Because I had saw it and I was just like, Ray Perez. Like Ray Perez is here. Like, what is he playing? Because he's a very consistent player, and he's one of the best I think to come out of the area, in my opinion. So I knew what to expect, and I watched him play the other side of the table. So that was kind of the nod to the Shatterstorm,
right?
Because that's typically like your only out for it in the matchup. Aside from, because a Braid doesn't really do much when they have like spell skites and their recurring welding jars and everything like that.
Right, exactly.
So I lost to that. Then the next round I played against Ad Nauseam.
Okay.
I played against Ad Nauseam round 12 and beat him 2-1. That was a really grindy matchup. Ad Nauseam's probably, I think, like, after playing against it for like 3 times this past weekend, I think it's probably one of the better like under the radar combo decks coming out in the format right now.
Ad Nauseam's I think very good right now.
It's super hard to interact with.
Right.
And you have to have like exactly the right combination of cards. Game 3 against the Ad Nauseam player around 14. He has 2 Lotus Blooms in play. One got turn take down, the other he just played. Plays a prison, I spell pierce the prison, plays a land for turn, passes. I flip Thing in the Ice, attack, hold up mana, draws passes, attack again, bolt him, make him Angel's Grace. So he has 3 cards in hand, 3 land untapped, or 3 land in play. 1 Lotus Bloom is going to come in the next turn, and then the other one still has a turn left. I have Dispel and Is a Charm in hand. So his outs to win on that turn exactly have to be Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam, the Pact of Negation, and a Simian Spirit Guide, or he has to draw a land. So he has to have either exactly those 3 or a second Pact of Negation. So he draws Angel's Graces, Ad Nauseams, I Dispel, he Pact of Negations back, and then I Is a Charm, and he pitches Simian Spirit Guide and taps City Brass and pays for it.
My God.
Yeah, so that was a pretty rough game 3.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yep. And
you
then,
can't prepare for that.
No, like exactly.
What do you do?
Yeah.
He's just got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty rough, and then I lost a close game 3 to Humans, round 15. So, Sin Collector, very good. Kitesail Freebooter buying back with Sin Collector with like Valiant in play.
That's brutal.
Oh yeah. It was still pretty close. I was getting around it. Late game 3, Terramander, and then he like went wide off like cracking a Horizon Canopy, and then playing like a Thalia's Lieutenant and a Manus Rider.
Oh.
Yeah, so
that's
bad.
Just
rough, right?
Bad
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, 4/4 Manus Riders are pretty hard for Phoenixes to roll over.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so that was aside from that, I mean, it was fine. Like you said, thanks for the comments as well. But yeah, 11-1 going into that for a Grand Prix, it's pretty solid.
Was that your best performance at a Grand Prix?
As far as like going through rounds like 12, yeah.
Did
Like
you ever top 8'd one?
Oh no.
Okay.
I've never top 8'd and I haven't top 16. I've had a couple X3s, X4s at like bigger Grand Prix.
Yeah.
X4 at like a team Grand Prix.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Played in Pro Tour Kyoto. Played in Pro Tour Chicago like years and years ago, in like 2003. That doesn't really come back.
Yeah, we'll never see a Pro Tour or probably like a Magic Fest here again.
Or an Open, probably even.
Yeah, we'll never see anything big here again.
That's why Nerd Rage is doing their thing.
Yep.
It's too expensive to buy out convention centers in Chicago.
Unless you're at the Accelerated Center, or Acceleration Center, or whatever.
Yep.
Let's play on a soccer field.
I'm down.
So what was the 2015 Chicago Open? It was on a soccer field.
Oh yeah, it was great.
It was great because there was soccer practice on the other side, and the commentator booth was right next to like like they have the drop down like thing to divide the room like in gyms. There's a gap on each side, right?
Yeah.
The commentator booth was right next to that gap, so I was just waiting for like Cedric Phillips or Sullivan to just get nailed with a soccer ball. It came close once and then just never happened. I was kind of sad. I was just like, let's just see this happen like
You're
live.
like, come on, one time.
Right?
Yeah.
One time. Too bad.
Right.
Would have been great.
So
what were you? I was gonna say.
I was gonna say. So what changes did you make from like the base list of this that like we see typically?
Definitely the Terramander. It was under a lot of speculation coming into like 2 weeks ago. After the release, people were like, "Oh man, do we just swap out the Drakes? Do we add 2? Do we play 1? Everything like that." Whenever I played the Mirror, and they didn't have it, and I played Terramander and made it a 5/5 for like 2 mana or 1 mana, it was just over.
Right. It seems really good. It blocks the other Drakes like really well.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill 2 in the mirror match because if they're bolting or gut shotting, you can just respond and readapt it.
Right, yeah.
So it gives a lot of leverage. I played the 4 Terramander, test playing for probably like 5 matches or so, and I ran against like the blue-black Eldrazi deck.
Okay.
and I got Chalice for one, and then I was and I was just like, oh, these Terramanders are awful.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then I instantly instantly messaged Stephen Dang, and I was just like, all right, you know what? Cutting 2 Terramander, 2 Crackling Drake back in right away, and he just gave me the old "I told you so."
So you didn't like the Terramanders?
No, the Terramander's great,
Just
but
not as a 4-of.
yeah,
Okay.
I felt you need the flexibility and you need the split.
Fair enough.
Also, Crackling Drake is better against the hate cards like Relic, Leyline, etc. too.
Good, yeah, because it counts exile.
Exactly. So you're not just dead having to pay 8 mana for like a 5/5. You get this huge 4x4 that cantrips.
How bad does Chalice feel against this deck? Like I just see all the 1-drops.
1 and 2 drops. Chalice is probably just like
Yeah.
the worst card for you, isn't it?
Well, I play around it a lot.
Do you?
If I go like a turn 2 thing in the ice, even if they Chalice for 1, I can still like Manamorphose, cantrip off that, draw a card, probably waste like 2 spells, but I'm still like cracking for 7.
Right, yeah, because you're still flipping it. That's true.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. It doesn't stop you from casting them, it just counters them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that is fair. Oh, yeah, and it does also bring your Phoenixes back.
Yeah.
I totally was not thinking about that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
still brings it back from the grave. That's why Jace, I like that too as a main deck out, because it gives me an out to discard Phoenix still.
Okay, yeah.
And then at least you can play like 5 Manamorphose or have like another Izzet Charm to be able to draw and discard as well. It gives you
Right.
that extra out to that.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're only playing 18 lands, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thought so. Playing 1 Flooded Strand, 1 Polluted Delta. Just
Yeah,
to
you just
filter?
gotta-
Just
well,
to
Yeah,
filter?
you
yeah,
just
the
got 6
fetch.
fetches.
Yeah.
It's whatever blue ones you want to play. I had Wooded Foothills instead of Flooded Strand, and then one time I drew Mountain Wooded Foothills, and I was just like, I'm never playing Wooded Foothills ever again.
Seems awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, I really want to fetch Island and not eat this 3 damage. So that's just a preference. The format's really racy in general, so you kind of want to be cognizant about what you're fetching.
Correct. Yeah, no, I mean, this is pretty standard from what I've seen of this deck. I know
It's got some spice.
it's got a little bit of spice, yeah, but
Yeah,
other than that-
as much spice as you can in Modern.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
yeah. I mean,
Modern's
obviously-
a format that does not exactly forgive spice.
right. The big thing that a lot of people change is the sideboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously your sideboard, everyone's sideboard is just completely different from what I've seen from these decks. Like,
There's like a similar 6-7 slots.
right, yeah, like I see surgicals on a lot of people's boards. Like, even though they're playing
Free
2
spells,
or
yeah.
right, they're playing 2 or 3 main board, but they're always playing like the 3rd and 4th one in the board.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about this deck. I just remembered this. So it was on a stream a while ago. Some kid was playing Modern Izzet Phoenix, and he didn't realize how Grafdigger's Cage worked with his own Phoenix, and he had one in the board. So he plays the Grafdigger's Cage on turn 1 in game 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, what did he just do? He just played a Grafdigger's Cage.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Those are
Rest in peace.
those are
They
for
can
both,
get
those are
burned.
for both sides,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So next
Um,
turn he tries to like do his little Manamorphose spell, and he like tries to bring back the 1 Phoenix he's got in the yard off a discard. And dude's just like Grafdigger's Cage.
we see that a lot with Chalice too.
Yeah.
A lot of people going, "Oh, I have this Chalice. It only affects you. It doesn't affect me."
No,
Affects
Chalice
both
is
of you.
symmetrical.
Like,
Oh yeah.
You know.
Round 13, I had my opponent like slam his Sai, and it was Chalice on 3, and like immediately I was like,
there's a Chalice, brother.
yeah, he's
Oh.
the Odo brother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Against-
he was just like, oh, well, that was my win condition.
GG. Yeah.
Yeah, it eventually forced him to, like, he ended up ripping his last EE, blowing the EE up on 3, killing the Blood Moon, then somehow blowing up his Chalice also later.
Yeah, his own Chalice.
Yeah, and then...
This game's a mess.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's the thing I love about Modern is like a lot of if you don't win the game in 4 or 5 turns, we'll say, the games start getting real sloppy.
Yeah, we were in like turn 20 at this point.
Yeah.
I had like every land in my deck in play, and I had like 10 cards left, and one of them was a Shatterstorm.
Oh,
And he
man.
had 3 cards left in his deck, and he had Sai and had a Ruins every turn to get back EE for 2 turns straight.
Oof.
Because I just brought back my Phoenixes as blockers.
Right.
So he couldn't keep just cracking me with Opters for like 4 turns.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually when he unlocked my Blood Moons, that's when he did that, and I was just like, oh great, this is going nowhere. Like I literally need to draw Shatterstorm. Cause he was at like 21 too, but I had like a Thing in the Ice, 4 Phoenixes in the graveyard.
Wow.
And like 2 bolts and a Jason play. And he Sorceress Spyglass me with my Jace on about to ultimate next turn.
Okay.
So he
That's
had
brutal.
he had some pretty fortunate rips like
Yeah.
that second game, and we were in like probably 5 minutes left,
Mm-hmm.
like going into a game 3. So
Going back and forth.
Yeah. So who knows what would have happened? But yeah, that deck's real.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad that there wasn't coverage, because God forbid that be on video and people see how to like properly play that deck, because the format would be a mess.
Yeah.
Like it's
So I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what deck you're talking about. Well, so did it get any new stuff out of Ravnica Allegiance?
no.
I was gonna
it's-
say, because I haven't seen any blue-green prison deck.
Yeah, it's the blue-green War of Invention deck. They mislabeled it when they posted the deck list. If you look on like Star City and check it out,
Okay.
it says like Grixis War, but that's like not what it is. It's like this like blue-green.
It's like a blue-green
where-
Ancient Stirrings Were prison deck, I would guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the using Bottle Cloister.
Bottled Cloister.
Bottle Cloister, Sai, and Ensnaring Bridge.
Nice.
Boy,
Uh,
that sounds like a real fun deck.
Crucible of Worlds, Ipnu
Oh,
Rivulet.
Oh, they're playing Ipnu Rivulet? I love it.
Yeah, Ipnu
That's
Rivulet and Pyrite Spellbomb. So, yeah.
There's your win condition. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So game 1, we wasted like 18 minutes, which is pretty long for a modern game.
That
Right.
is a lot for a modern game.
And so we're in like minute 18, and I'm just like, all right, how the hell are you gonna kill me? And he's just like, I'm like, all right, well, play it out. So we're getting deep in the round, and then finally like slammed to Ipnu Rivulet with a Crucible of Worlds in play.
There you go.
And I was just like, okay, cool story, bro. Next game. After he like turn 3 Ensnaring Bridge, like turn 4 Bottle Cloistered me, like
Oh man.
sweet deck idiot.
Yeah, really.
Like, nice 7-8. Yeah.
That's a feels bad.
Yeah.
That's some bad beats.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, swing you for 13, like thinking,
Cool.
thinking I was really sweet, like turn 3 on the play, like flipping Thing in the Ice,
Right.
like after Metamorphose, like.
And he thinks he's
So,
hot
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
nope, got you, dude. Ensnaring Bridge. I was like, okay, cool. Put you to 1. Yeah, that's fine. Bottle Cloister.
Aww.
And then-
Sad
and then,
Christmas.
We're an invention for Witchbane Orb.
Oh, God.
Like now you're
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
now you're really dead.
I want to read the exact text on Bottled Cloister.
Yeah, I know this is sort of off topic, but do either of you guys follow like the Nerd series?
Yeah.
Did you see the Slippery Bogle mirror match?
That's right.
No.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
I saw they posted the video of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, they posted the clip of it. Because we were talking about how later in games boards get really messy.
Yeah.
So this one's really funny because both players only have 4 lands. Like this is like, it's pretty late in the game. They both have Bogle out, and one dude has like 10 enchantments on his. The other dude only has 4, but he has 1 land untapped. And I believe the dude went to go play like a Rancor or something and tap out for it. And the other guy just calmly responds with Path to Exile. And his opponent's just like, I'll scoop. Like, that's cool.
How did he path the Bogle?
I don't know how he's doing it, but he pathed. He passed something.
He
Okay.
cast a path.
He cast a path.
It was probably like
There was-
the core spirit dancer
Right.
or whatever it is. Like,
I could not see what everything was because of how small the.
yeah.
Because there was so
It's
much
so
crap
funny.
on the battlefield,
That's
you
hilarious.
could not see what anything was.
Uh-huh.
And he just pathed it, and his opponent just scooped. Don't know what he did,
That's
but
yeah.
the board was a complete mess. You couldn't make out any of the cards.
You want to talk about bad beats? That guy's gonna go back and watch that video later and be like,
How?
"Oh, what did I do?"
Yeah, I hope his
assume-
Bogles were in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm assuming whatever it was wasn't Bogle, but it could have been, and they could have just completely
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah, that's
No, you
But-
don't. Hold on.
Why would you put 10 enchantments on something that's not Bogle?
It could
You
be
don't-
like a 30/30 core spirit dancer that has like pro creatures.
Okay, I mean, I guess
I want to
that's...
see the video, but like, I don't know,
yeah,
man.
I could not make out any of the cards
Yeah.
because of how many cards there were.
It just sounds fishy, scooping to a path to exile in the Bogle's mirror. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, he was going to die on the kickback because he tapped out for
it
it.
sounds
whatever he
fishy
did.
to me.
Yeah.
well, that deck doesn't have a lot of main deck interaction. So if
Right.
it was like game one, I could see that happening. I could also see it happening post board too, like
Yeah.
in the mirror.
I'm gonna have
Like,
to see
why-
that video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
I'm not
find it.
convinced.
I'll have to find
it sounds to me like somebody chimped out and was like, "Oh, herder, path to exile, I lose." That's what it really sounds like. It sounds like dude was realizing he's gonna lose to this Rancor, so he's just like, "I have a path to exile. What do you say, sir?" And then dude's just like, "Oh, well, clearly Bogle can't beat a path to exile, so scoop." Like, that's what it sounds to me happened, and that's what I want to happen, because that's great.
That's what you get for playing Bogles. That's why I flipped.
Yeah.
That's why I flipped Thing in the Ice,
Yeah.
or just got
That's a real
or
good
just,
way to
yeah, or
punish
just grape
that
shot
deck.
for $1 million.
Yeah, that's a good way to punish that deck. Make it bounce it. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not targeting it.
Yeah.
And I can't zoom in. But it's... Okay, so it's not... What the hell?
Is it not a Bogle?
It's not a Bogle, I don't think. No, there's no Bogle on his side. What is that? I can't zoom in any further. This is the problem.
That's a core spirit
Okay.
dancer. With the big one,
Oh,
that's a
he
core.
put it on down. He put it down here. It's over here. He put all his enchantments on top of it.
Ah.
See how he's doing it? He's putting his enchantments on top of it instead of underneath it.
Yeah. It's
So I was just like, I was looking down here
oh, gotcha.
when I saw it, and I
Yeah,
saw
no,
a green
that's-
card. I saw like,
Thanks for ruining my fun,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
but yeah, he paths and just
I
scoops.
was really hoping he was gonna like scoop to a Bogle trying to be bathed.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know too, Matt Dow like knows how to play his Bogles.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like if he knows how to play 2 decks in Modern, I think it's like Bogles and Infect, and like a
Mhm.
third would probably be Infinity.
Yeah, all the
Uh,
same deck.
Yeah, basically the same.
All the
deck.
same toxic aggro deck.
Yeah. Secondly, Luis Kaplan should have definitely known better because he's a seasoned veteran. So I do not feel bad for him at all. You're Matt Severa's roommate. You should know that. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You know, my favorite part about it is just how calmly Matt just plays
Man, we're good.
how calmly he plays the path. He's just like, I'll tap this, play this path.
Yeah.
And he just like his opponent's just like, oh, okay.
And we're good here. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
still like shuffling his deck to like present it to cut, and he's just
Yeah,
like,
but like, have you seen Matt Dow? He's like Stone Cold Napoleon Dynamite.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. What were you doing before we talked about that part? Talked about this random tangent about Nerd Rage series.
What do you mean?
That we
You're-
probably shouldn't be talking about on this podcast.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
It's fine. John doesn't do big events like
What are you
that.
talking?
so-
What are you talking about? My phone?
No, you were gonna mention something, but never mind. Here's my question, because we haven't done a podcast since the banning in Modern.
Okay.
What is your opinion on the banning of KCI, and how has it affected the format, and do you like it better?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think the card deserved to be out of the format. It's
Yeah, it's
one of
too
the
good.
harder. Well, it's not that a card's necessarily too good when you have to determine like bannings and restrictions. It's how well you interact with it.
You can't really interact
on
with
certain
that
levels.
deck.
Exactly, because it's a mana ability.
Yeah.
So it's it's broken in the aspect that you can't interact with it on a certain level in which you want to, and it makes you have to choose your card choices, your deck choices, and play the format a different way.
Right.
So Wizards doesn't necessarily like when cards do that in general. They don't. They like a little bit of viability. Obviously, like Modern, it's different because for Standard, obviously, a lot of the revenue generated on pack sales, etc. Wizards get money based off the secondary market. So, all in all, in general, though, I do think it's better for the format. I do think it's a little healthier. KCI was a rough deck to play, but I mean, if you knew how to play it, it was absolutely degenerate.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a tough deck to pilot.
Yeah.
And if you pilot it incorrectly, you're losing all your games.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you find the combo pieces, like
it punished you for not knowing what you were doing.
Correct.
Which I was fine with.
Yeah.
Because everyone picked up that deck.
Once the deck, like the people at the top were playing the deck so efficiently that it was just, what do you do when Matt Nass has literally over the course of a year a 92% win rate at Grand Prix with this one deck? Come on, you know what I mean? Like that's way too degenerate. Like somebody was arguing with me about it. Well, what if it was only 50%? And I'm like, if a deck has a 50% win rate, that's fine. When you start getting past like 60 and 70%, that's not fine. You know what I mean? Like that's too good. Now for one pilot to have a 92% win rate, that's out of control.
Yeah, it was completely disgusting. I felt that if they got rid of Ancient Stirrings too, it would have impacted the format a little too much.
Yeah, Ancient Stirrings would have like destroyed the format. It's in so many different decks. It would have just like it would have destroyed it in the sense that like 8 decks would have left, and then everything that those decks lost to would have rose to the top. So the format would have just completely changed.
Yeah, I think Mox Opal would have had a very similar impact.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, the decks that play it completely rely on that card.
Yeah, and I mean everyone's like Masterpiece Ravagers and everything. You don't want to get all those are gone then. What are they going to do? They're going to not play Ravager anymore for like the whole existence of Modern. So.
Yeah, no, like I think they made the right choice with the card they banned, but they also like when they ban cards, they won't like. There's a trend of them banning multiple cards at once.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of talks of those 3 cards. Also, I just saw it randomly like popping up, and like everyone's like ban.
They were talking about Faithless
Looting.
Oh yeah,
and like I don't know.
That card doesn't need to get
it doesn't need to be banned. Like the Phoenix decks are good, but they're not winning 92%, right?
Well, again, that's another card that's like Ancient Stirrings. If you ban Faithless Looting, it's going to take out a bunch of decks from the format.
Yeah.
Like, you can't play Dredge efficiently anymore. You can't play Phoenix. You know what I mean? Just other decks like that.
Yeah, it's going to affect too much of the format.
Mardu Pyromancer, I mean, it's a deck that's not as much around, but it's just gone then. So.
Right.
Well, I think we're going to cut it short today, guys. I got a date tonight. I'm going to see a movie with her. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
What movie are you gonna see? Aquaman?
Yeah. she's a, as all the ladies are, a fan of Jason Momoa, so.
Hey, anything you gotta do to get the juices flowing.
Hey man, I'm not complaining. The movie's supposedly really good, and
I actually have heard that.
Yeah, she's gonna be happy that Jason Momoa is so cute. Oh my God, look at his muscles. Well, look at my beer gut. Like we could, we could do this all day, lady. So. Well, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you, Dave, for joining us.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
And then we also want to thank John for obviously letting us use the Gamestorm name and letting us use this room.
Yep, the computer room, as we always do.
And then one other thing is they're going to be starting Super Smash Brothers tournaments here.
I'll be doing that at
Tuesday,
some point.
Starting this upcoming Tuesday, the 12th. So tomorrow, actually.
Yep.
When this will be released. At 7 p.m. tomorrow, there'll be a Smash tournament, and then it'll be every Tuesday at 7 p.m., and we'll start streaming it at some point.
Cool.
So we're going to see you guys back either next week or the week after.
Yep. Peace out.
Later.